Hello, I'm Deadpool, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm gonna have a hard time seeing. I can't read with this. But today, we are going to talk about one of my favorite superhero teams, and that is the X-Men. Now, Deadpool is not an X-Men, but he's part of the Marvel Universe. I'm gonna take this off so I can read. Here we go. Today we're going to learn about the amazing world of the X-Men created by Stan Lee in 1963. The X-Men are more than just a superhero team. They're a way for Stan Lee to talk about the social issues that were happening in America at the time. One of the things that he was addressing in his X-Men comic series was the civil rights movement. It was a time when people in America, especially African Americans, were not being treated fairly. They wanted to be treated fairly, but they were being judged by the color of their skin, and they were not receiving all the benefits that the rest of the society was receiving. The civil rights movement was a time when people fought for equality because they were being judged by the color of their skin. Stan Lee wanted to use his X-Men to talk about this issue, but instead of directly talking about people and skin color, he talked about mutant superheroes and how they were being treated and how they were outcast from the rest of society because the people around them did not like them and feared them. Mutants were people with special powers, and they were treated unfairly because the humans in the Marvel Universe feared them. So the X-Men were created as a new type of superhero. Many superheroes have a story as to why they are the way they are. For example, Superman, he was born on the planet Krypton, and he was sent by his parents to the planet Earth. So that's his backstory. They were not the result of a spider bite or gamma rays, but they were just born different. They were born as mutants. In the world of the X-Men, the humans are afraid of the mutants. Why? Because they don't understand them. They fear the special powers that they have, and this fear turns into hate. To control the mutants, the humans create a special type of robots called the Sentinels, and these Sentinels hunt out and capture the mutants.
Target identified. Initiate capture.
Target? Capture?
Now let's talk about some of the characters in the X-Men. Now first there is Professor. Professor X represents peaceful, loving type leader. The X-Men gather around Professor X. He teaches them how to use their powers, and he also teaches them that regardless of how much the humans hate them, they must protect and be kind to the humans. Though the humans don't understand the X-Men must understand and be compassionate to the weaker, more ignorant humans.
No, that's an order.
He teaches them to use their powers and control their powers, and they must not only use their powers to just help themselves, but they must use their powers to help the human world and to protect the human world from evil.
We X-Men learned something very special here, Jubilee. How to control our mutant powers for the benefit of mankind.
But then why do people hate us?
People fear what they do not understand.
Now, Professor X's students are called the X-Men, like Professor X, the X-Men. They have powerful abilities, but they learn from the professor that it's very important to be kind and very compassionate to the humans. The opposite of Professor X or Professor Xavier is Magneto. Magneto and Professor Xavier were once friends. They were once close, and they shared the same idea. Then Magneto had one of his people hurt by humans, and he then decided that he will no longer use his power to protect or help humans. He will only use his power to protect and help other mutants and if it comes down to hurting humans to protect mutants, no problem. He is willing to hurt humans. He does not want to help the humans. He wants to separate from the humans.
How many more of your bones will pave the way to Xavier's future? Where we simper like beggars for tolerance? Your professor's dream is dead. Cling to this dying world, or rise to your future and look down upon this fallen pigsty planet.
He believes that humans and mutants can live separately and they cannot live in peace because throughout the series, humans are constantly trying to harm the mutants. Professor X and Magneto have varied ideas about whether mutants and humans can live together in harmony. What do you think? Do you think Magneto is right, or do you think Professor X is right? Well, Stan Lee said the story of the X-Men was inspired by the real world, just like how African Americans and others were fighting for equality. The mutants are fighting for acceptance as well throughout the series. Lee wanted to show that it's wrong to treat people differently because they are different or because you don't understand them. Stan Lee said it best when he said, "There is no room for intolerance, there is no room for bigotry." Now that is the lesson behind the X-Men. Accept others, no matter how big the differences are. So let's review what we've learned today. The humans, they fear the mutants because they don't understand their powers. Professor X believes that mutants should help humans and show compassion even in the face of mistreatment by the humans. The X-Men are a group of mutants that have been trained and work along with Professor X that try to help the world, try to help both humans and mutants. Magneto believes that humans and mutants cannot live together in harmony, and he does not want to protect humans. He loves mutants, believes we cannot live together. The story of the X-Men was inspired by the civil rights movement in the US, where people were fighting for equal treatment in their country. Now, some important words that we learned today, let's see if you remember what the meaning is. Mutant, persecution, ignorance, compassion, oppression, evolved. Maybe we didn't learn some of these, but tell me if you know what these words mean. Now here's time for our questionnaire before we get out of here. Who created the X-Men and in what year? Was it Stan Lee in 1963, Charles Xavier in 1980, or Magneto in 1950? 2. Why are humans afraid of mutants? Is it because they don't understand their powers? Because mutants want to take over the world? Or because humans want to help mutants? Number 3. What does Professor X believe about mutants and humans? Mutants should use their powers to help humans. Mutants should stay hidden from humans. Mutants should control humans. 4. Who are the Sentinels? Robots that protect humans. Robots that capture mutants. Teachers at Professor X's school. 5. What is Magneto's belief about mutants? Mutants should help humans no matter what. Mutants should only protect other mutants. Mutants and humans are equal. Okay, great job, I think. Where'd my mask go? That's all for today. Until I see you again. Oh, how am I going to see with this for Halloween? Pardon my Halloween costume. Until next time, take care.